Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Classic DM. This is episode 13, and we're just going to call this one Spell Prep for Antola. This is a chance for you to kind of follow along as we plan out what spells we're going to take as our party has retreated. Our party has retreated and set up shop in the White Dragon Cave. The last episode we went through the Druid spells and got her set up, got all her cool spells. We went through, talked through why we made the decisions to pick the spells we did, because they are anticipating a massive, nasty throne room style battle that's going to happen in the next chamber. Just to give you a quick snapshot what that looks like, there's a lot of baddies in that room. So they are set up themselves with a number of area effect spells. They're going to set up maybe a kill zone. So we're going to pick the spells for Antola, our hardcore healer cleric. What can he take? What should he take? So before we get started, let's take a look at what he has now, okay? So we're going to use the same number of spells. We're not going to do anything any different. And every now and then when there's something we're going to talk about, we're going to put her back. Let's put him up in the front here. Now, his role has primarily been a frontline healer. He's not a damage dealer. He doesn't do melee. He has done a little bit of melee because he's very hard to hit. He's the lowest armor class of the entire group. But for him, we need to pick spells that are going to support, because the druid is taking advantage of all her area effect abilities, so she's going to be a midline caster. So for him, he needs to focus on healing or shutting things down. So let's take what he has right now. He has Sanctuary, Cure Light Wounds, Protection from Evil, Augury, Silence 15-foot radius, Whole Person, Dispel Magic ×4, Speak with the Dead, Cure Serious Wounds, Raise Dead, and Heal. What does he get to work with? Let's just start with level 1. So level 1, he has 5 Cure Light Wounds, 1 Protection from Evil, and 1 Sanctuary. That's a total of 7 spells. So what could we do that'd be different? You could do things like Bless and Command. Let's take a look and see if Command would be useful. Command is, as I recall, was a spell you say something like, you would yell out a command like retreat or stop fighting. So let's just look that up and make sure we're not missing out on an opportunity to use a really cool, interesting spell. So here we go here. This is Command. This command enables a cleric, this is right here, to command utter a single word. The command must be uttered in a language which the spell receiver is able to understand. Boop, that's a problem right there. So if you yell out a command to a frost giant and you're speaking it in freaking southern redneck, it's not going to work, right? So that's not going to happen. So if you use this, let's move everyone back out of the way, let him have his show. So if you have a situation where here's a battle and Vrinjar is fighting a frost giant and Mercedes fighting a frost giant, here's another frost giant, and 2 winter wolves are coming around the flanks like this, and he's not healing, and he needs to do something to help. Command won't work. So we're gonna kill that. We won't do that instead. What else could we do? Let's go up to the druid page. Here we go. Bless is okay. Bless has been around forever. Bless is like a little crappy little buff. It's a level 1 spell. Here it is right here. This is uttering the Bless spell. The caster raises the morale of a friendly creature by +1. Furthermore, raises their to-hit rolls by 1. Blessing, however, will affect only those not already engaged in melee. So, you know, you have to do it ahead of time. The duration is 6 melee rounds. The area effect is 50 by 50, so you could cast Bless and help the whole group if they're not engaged in combat. The whole rule of being engaged in combat and not being engaged in combat really only came into being in Dark Age of Camelot and in WoW. These are games that have what's called a combat flag. But in D&D, it basically just means if someone's fighting and already engaged in, you know, blocking and parrying and moving, that this spell wouldn't work. Kind of a weird rule. I don't really see really why it would need to do that. It lowers the curse upon the enemies, lowers the morale to hit by -1. So it's an okay spell, but it's not really going to turn the tide of a massive battle against a lot of raid epic type creatures. So Create Water, useless. Cure Light Wounds, you know, it's, come on. I mean, these are low level, little punky heals for level 3 characters in the Village of Hamlet. I mean, just to give you an example, here's the base one, right? Cure Light Wounds, you got to touch someone, and it heals from 1 to 8 hit points, okay? That's not going to be useful when someone has 150 health against someone that's going to hit for 66. So we're going to skip that. Let's find something that's more useful and creative. Cure Light Wounds, Detect Evil, Detect Magic, Light, Protection from Evil. That might be okay. The reason why I say that is because it may give everyone a buff, an armor buff for a long period of time, and these guys are definitely evil. Oh, no wonder you spelled it wrong, dude. Okay. Let's spell it correctly. Okay, cool. I do that all the time. So let's just boom this down. Do this. This spell cast acts of magical armor. So let's make this a little bigger. This is a trickier spell. Alright, here we go. The protection encircles the recipient 1 foot distance, thus preventing bodily contact with creatures of enchanted, conjured nature, such as aerial servants, demons, devils, genie, not djinn, ifrit, elementals, blah, blah, blah. Summoned animals or monsters similarly hedged from the protected creature. So imagine you had a situation where you had, I don't know, this is a bugbear, but say there was a nasty demon and it was going after Mercedes and he was to cast protection from evil on it. This thing couldn't do anything to her. So that's preventing bodily contact. So it couldn't grab you or touch you. Summoned animal. Furthermore, any and all attacks launched by evil creatures incur a penalty of -2 from the to-hit rolls. That's really nice. And any saving throws by such attacks are made at +2 for the protected teacher's dice. The spell can reverse and become protection from good, although it still keeps out enchanted evil creatures. That's an interesting twist. If you're playing the game and you're playing alignment-oriented stuff, if you're playing a lawful good, a lawful evil character, chaotic neutral character, and you cast protection from good, it still protects from evil. To complete the spell, the cleric must trace a 30-foot diameter upon the floor. So the cleric needs to take an opportunity to cast this on the ground. So it doesn't say anything about whether it's in combat or not. This is pretty good. The duration is only 3 rounds per level. That's not very long. But him being level 12, that would be, what, 36 rounds, which is like 30 minutes almost. Where you remember, we're using a segment, so these have 10 segments in a minute. So this would last about 3 minutes. It's okay. There may be better things to take besides this. You can tell, you can see we just took Cure Light Wounds and Protection from Evil once before. We took Sanctuary. Let's think about that. I'm not convinced that's the right thing to take. It is a good buff, but it's not awesome. Sanctuary. This one is interesting. When a cleric casts a Sanctuary spell, any opponent must make a saving throw versus magic in order to strike or otherwise attack him or her. If the saving throw is not made, the creature will attack another and totally ignore the cleric protected by the spell. So this is something kind of like World of Warcraft bubbling as a paladin. So you cast a spell, that means no one's going to, he won't be able to hit you. The cleric is subject to normal attack process, including dicing for weapons, etc. During the period of protection afforded by the spell, the cleric cannot take offensive action. So you could cast Sanctuary in the front lines on yourself, walk forward and cast heals in the thick of the melee and not have anyone attack you. So I think we're going to keep that. Alright? So we're going to keep that. We're going to keep Sanctuary, but we're not going to keep Cure Light Wounds. Let's put Protection from Evil. So let's do it this way. We'll write this stuff out over here. So this is going to be Antola. And first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and he gets 2 level 6 spells. 6. So we're going to do Protection from Evil. We're going to do Sanctuary. And that gives us 5 additional spells we could do. So let's just zap this back down to 75% and take a look at what we could do with the rest of these. Remove fear, resist cold, purify food and drink, light, detect magic, detect evil. There really isn't a lot we can work with here. Can't speak the language. So why don't we just, that's probably why we did this before. Because the protection from evil is short, I'm actually going to do the protection from evil times 3. I'm going to do Sanctuary times 3. That will give us a total of 6. And then he'll use other spells. So that gives him 5, 6, 7. We could do one other spell. I don't really see anything else that could help him in any way. Resist cold might come in handy. Let's just double check that real quick to see if it's a group oriented or not. Okay, here we go. Resist cold. This probably just gives you a saving throw bonus. This is level 1. When this spell is placed on a creature by a cleric, the creature's body is insured to cold. The recipient can stand 0 degrees Fahrenheit that discomfort, and even no greater cold, such as the produced from a sword of cold, ice storm, cold wand, or white dragon breath, must be saved against. All saving throws against cold are made with a bonus of +3, and damage sustained is 1/2. The resistance lasts 1 turn per level of experience in the caster, a pinch of sulfur. Resist cold is okay, but I don't think we're going to need that as much. But the breath weapon effect and also the Ogre Magi, I think we're going to take that. So we could put resist cold. In fact, what we're going to do, we put resist cold. And we're going to take protection to evil down to 1. And we're going to do this times. How long does this last? It's only one person. 1 turn per level, creature touched. So we're going to take this times 3. Okay? So second level spells. What can we do? What do we have previously? We previously had Augury, silence 15-foot radius, and whole person. A whole person is a great offensive spell. Let's let you see what Augury is all about, because it doesn't make any sense if you just read the word. So here's Augury right here. The cleric casts Augury spell seeks to divine whether an action is immediately future within 3 turns will be for the benefit or harm for the party. That's a really great spell if you're a creative player and you're trying to figure out what to do. You're in the Tomb of Horrors, you're trying to figure out where to go, which way, turn left or turn right. Refer to determining adjustments, particular conditions. So in this situation, this isn't really useful in a battle or in a fight, so we don't need that anymore. So that frees up that spell. Silence 15-foot radius and whole person. We had Augury 3 times, so we had a total of 5 spells for level 2. I think what we're going to do is take a look at the list of spells we can work with, and let's find something a little bit more meaningful to protect the party with at level 2. Chant, find traps, whole person. Let's double check if whole person will affect monsters or if their hit dice are too high. It's only a level 2 spell, so it may not work. Let's go down here. Here's whole person. Spell holds immobile, freezes in place from 1 to 3 humans or humanoid creatures, see below, or for 5 or more melee rounds. The level of cleric cast whole person dictates the length of time it will last. Now, I believe there used to be a limitation on the hit dice. The spell is cast through because saving throw with normal score. There's saving throw bonuses. The person makes saving throw only affected by the spell. So saving throw negate. So I think we're going to take that a number of times. Let's go back to the spell list here. So whole person is a great one. Resist fire is not useful. Silence 15-foot radius is interesting. Speak with animals. Spiritual hammer is nasty. I think we're going to use. I think we're going to probably do this. Let's take a look at what he had before. We had Augur. We won't need silence 15-foot radius once, and then hold person for the other one. So we had a total of 3, 4, 5. So let's go silence 15-foot radius. That's 1, and the other ones we're going to do 3, 4, 5. We're going to do 4 hold persons. This will help us shut things down, especially people that get into trouble. You got a boss creature, he may save, you can cast it again and try it again. Alright, now what do we got for the next level? Level 3, he had Dispel Magic times 4 and Speak with the Dead. Speak with the Dead won't be as useful. Let's see what else is available at level 3. Cure Blindness, that could be changed into Cause Blindness. Glyph of Warding, Locate Object, Prayer. Let's double check Prayer real quick. Blindness is good because it's a complete shutdown. Here he is. So, this is another buff. Duplicates the effect of the chance spell, regards a bonus of +1 for friendly attacks and saving through -1 on the enemy dice. However, when the player is under the cleric, can do other things like chant. So this is just another buff that's not that useful. Let's go back to our list here again. I think what we may want to do instead here for level 3 is do Cause Blindness. This may be a touch attack though. So let's just see here. We could cause curse and cause blindness. Let's look up blindness. The thing about blindness is that no one will be able to see what they're doing and they can't attack anything. So let's just go down here. This is reversible. Let's see what the rule is on that. So if you imagine you're casting cause creature touch, so you have to make a save. He has to touch something. That may not be that bad to do. By touching the creature afflicted, the cleric employing spell cause permanently cure most forms of blindness. In this case, reverse cause blindness requires successful touch of the victim, and the victim will make a saving throw. The effect is negated. So they could say the duration is permanent. So we're going to take that we're going to take that for max number of times. I don't really see Dispel Magic will be good. Let's do blindness times. Let's do Dispel Magic. In case we get charmed, we'll do that times 3. And let's do blindness times 2. We'll call it Cause Blindness. Alright, great. We're almost done with him. Level 4, he had Cure Serious Wounds. That's great. Let me just let you see. We modify this to 3d8. This spell is a more potential version of the Cure Light Wounds upon laying their hands on a creature, so it's touch. So, you know, if they have a big fight happening you would need to actually touch him, like maybe touch him on the shoulder or something. Upon laying his or her hand on the creature, the cleric causes from 3 to 17, 2d8 plus 1 hit points of wound and injury damage. The creature is healed. One of the last of these creatures listed to cure light wounds. The victim had to be touched first. The touch successfully inflict 3 to 17 wounds. We did that as a 3d8 just to make it simpler. So that's 4. So what else do we have at level 4? We just took that times 3. I think we're going to do that again. So we're just going to take Cure Serious Wounds. And the 5th level and the 6th level spells probably won't change either. Raise Dead is tricky. That's a long spellcast time. Is when you want to get your ally out of the harm's way to go resurrect them. Let's see, where is this? Here it is. You can restore life to a dwarf, gnome, halfling, or human. Length of time a person has been dead is important. Blah, blah, blah. Raise person to a certain level. This is really tricky. It's one person. This is basically the somatic consequence is pointed finger. The versus spell is Slay Living, allows the victim a saving throw, and except the victim sustained equal only to that caused by a cause serious wound spell. So, if this is very nasty, you could turn this into Slay Living, allow the victim a saving throw, and if successful, they only sustain this. If they don't, they are killed. So this is pretty nasty. Might want to take this as a Slay Living spell. So let's just see the reverse here. The reverse of the spell, Slay Living, allows a victim a saving throw, and if successful, they still take damage, as if they took cause serious wounds. An evil cleric can freely use a reverse spell. A good cleric must exercise extreme caution in employment. You have to sure the victim of the Slay Living spell is evil, and his or death is a matter of great necessity. That's obviously true. Let's change these to Raise Dead. So we're going to turn both of those into Slave Living. Slay Living. Notice how there's no hit dice limitation on that, so you could pop the boss with that and he might drop. And the last one we have here is Heal. I think we're going to need to stick with Heal. We can go back over to this and look at the list. Now we decided to go with Raise Dead, which is here, right up here by the left to seeing. We're looking at the 5th level spells. We decided to leave that and not go with Flame Strike or these other ones, or Cure Critical Wounds. Now the 6th level spell, I think Heal is going to be a gotta have it. So we're going to sacrifice a lot of healing for a lot of damage. Okay? So that's Antola. I think he's ready to go. So he's ready. The rest of the party's going to know that kind of stuff too. We got that done in 17 minutes. Let's go ahead and do Obscura. Okay? Let's get these out of the way. Obscura is probably not going to need to change much, but you never know. Let's put her up in the front, and we'll bring her up here so you can see what she looks like. This is our Illusionist. Now previously she had Color Spray, Darkness, Phantasmal Force. I'm not changing those. Hypnotic Pattern, Invisibility, Blindness, Deafness, those are great. Paralyzation is great. Spectral Force is great. Phantasmal Killer is great. Shadow Monster is great. Chaos is great. Let's look at level 4 and 5 and see if there's something else we could do with her that would be more nasty for area effect oriented stuff. So level 4 is Confusion, Dispel Exhaustion. We're looking down here, okay? Emotion, Improved Invisibility. Let's take a look at that. Mass Morph, Minor Creation, Phantasmal Killer, and Shadow Monsters. Phantasmal Killer, we did that once before. Let's see what Confusion does, if that's area effect. So we're going to do a search for that. Confusion. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look through this. This spell causes confusion to one or more creatures within spell range. So area effect is 40 feet by 40 feet. That's huge. Let's just take a look at our battle map here. Okay. It is. The range is 80 feet. So let's say you had. That's going to be really good. We might just take this one. This will really allow the druid to get entangles and stuff like that off. 2 winter wolves are charging. She's over here. What is 80 feet away? Say she want to cast Confusion right here. So we go 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Oh my goodness, she could be way back here. So she could cast a spell almost all this distance to cast a spell. And then the radius is what? Up to 40 by 40 area. So you would have 10, 20, 30, you'd have this massive 1, 2, 3, 4. This huge area like this would all be affected by the confusion spell. That's brilliant. But what does it do? Okay. Confused creature will react as follow. Wander away for 10 minutes. Stand confused for 1 round. Attack the nearest creature for 1 round. Attack the druid or his or her party, which in this case will be illusionist. The spell lasts for 1 melee round per level experience. So that's great. Affect 2 to 8 creatures, which is brilliant. Plus a possible additional number of creatures determined by subtracting the level of the number of the hit dice of the strongest opponent creature of spell range. A positive number result if they add a random die. Each affected creature will make a saving throw each round. That's interesting. Could really buy some time, unless they are caused to wander away for 1 turn, in which case they will go as far away from the druid as possible. All saving throws are at -2. Confused creatures act according to the table of actions. So this is interesting. Each affected creature must make a saving throw. Now there's only a 10% chance for wander away for 1 turn. In fact, if you were just roll a percentile die right now, what would you get? Right? There's an 8. So let's say he had this is a wander away. And let's do this other Winter Wolf here. What would his be? A 58. A 58 would get stand confused for 1 round. So he would just have a status effect on him. Just put a d20 on his head. Say this first fire giant here. 22. Stand confused for 1 round. See, this stand confused for 1 round, that's going to happen pretty frequently. So 11 to 60 is almost 50% of the time. Attack nearest creature, it will be between 61 and 80. So the 74 would be he might attack the nearest creature, that he might attack him. That's going to buy time because now they're choking up the spot. If we had the entangle down, they couldn't move around once. I think confusion's good. Let's just take it once though. So let's just do that this way. We're going to take Obscura. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What are we going to change on her? I think we're going to take, instead of Phantasmal Killer and Shadow Monster, which is 3 level 4 spells, I think Confusion's going to be one of the ones we're going to look for. So level 4, we're going to take Confusion, Shadow Monsters, and Phantasmal Killer. I think what we're going to do is, let's just give her 1 Confusion. Phantasmal Killer. And Shadow Monsters. That's a total of 3. What she had previously was Shadow Monsters twice. So we'll leave Shadow Monsters in there too. That one's nasty. We haven't cast that yet before. If you want to take a look at that real quick, let's let you see that. It's actually plural. Here it is here. The Shadow Monster spell enables the illusions to create a semi-real phantasm of 1 or more creatures. The total hit dice to Shadow Monsters thus created can't exceed the level experience of illusions. That's a, obviously the same level as her. She could do 2 5 hit dice ones or 1. They must be the same sort. Hobgoblins, orcs, specters had 20% chance they points I would normally have. They're not really there, so it's like summoning a monster to fight for you. In the case the monster is not successfully created, round it up. Perform the saving throws this way. Biting, clawing, shadow monster, dragon attacks. Yay! I think we're going to skip that. Let's kill it. Let's kill that and go Phantasmal Killer times 2. Phantasmal Killer is very creative. 1 Confusion, and let's do Phantasmal Killer times 2. Okay, what else do we had to work with for her? Let's go back up to where the illusionist list is. This is what you have for her. Chaos. We took Chaos twice previously. Let's just take a look at Chaos and see what we got here. You summoned Warhammer 40k players. Alright, here we go. This is there was a reason why we took this previously. Range is 5 feet per level, so 50 foot. Duration is 1 round per level. Air effect is 40 feet by 40 feet. That's nasty. This spell is similar to the 7th level druid spell Confusion, but all creatures in the air effect are confused for the duration of the spell. Only fighters other than paladins or rangers of illusion are able to combat the spell effects and thus allowed to have a saving throw. Monsters which do not employ magic and have intelligence of 4 or less are entitled to saving throws. So the material component of the spell is small. So this is a guaranteed Confusion. That's really good. Now we already have 1 Confusion. This is almost like a guaranteed version of it. So with that being in mind, would it be worthwhile to use something else? instead of chaos, which is a guaranteed confusion, should we try and pick something else for that level? Let's go back up to the spell list. Okay, so we had taken chaos. This is level 5. We have demi shadow monsters, major creation, maze, projected image, shadow door. I tell you what we're going to do. Let's just type in major creation and just look through all the ones in that area. All the ones in this part. Major creation. Okay. Even gets a picture, right? I think it's a Trempe or a DSL picture. This spell is comparable to a minor creation spell, except it allows Leash to create a mineral objects in vegetable areas occur. So this is like creating an objects, and not very useful. Maze. This spell exactly does the same as the 8th level magic user spell. Let's go take a look at Maze then. Trap the soul. Okay, this is Maze. It's down here, starts down below. An extra dimensional space is brought into being upon utterance of the maze spell. The recipient, one creature, will wander into the shifting labyrinth of forces. So it's like a crowd control spell for one creature. The intelligence between 9 to 11. So they would be trapped in the mental maze. So they could probably be damaged and killed while that's happening. That's pretty nasty, but not perfect. Let's go back to the. Let's go back to where we were. In fact, what we can do is go to Chaos again and just jump from there. Alright, so we had Chaos, Major Creation, Maze, Projected Image. Except as shown above, the spell is the same as a 6th level magic lure, so Project Image, Shadow Door, create illusion of the door, appear to step through the door, totally invisible, Shadow Magic. Allows illusions to cast a quasi-real magic user spell. The spell can be Magic Missile, Fireball, Lightning Bolt, Cone of Cold, Summon a Shadow, and that's it. So let's see what Projected Image is. It's a 6th level magic user spell. Through seeing Projected Image. Image. Okay, that's why I misspelled it. It's not called the same thing. So it's not. The projected image is going to be an illusional version of it. Project image. Mirror image. Oh, where is it? Good lord. Okay, magic user 6th level. Let's pull this out and zoom. 6th level. Where is that spell? I'm not seeing that. Am I missing something here? Let's do this. Just do this again properly. Okay. Here we go. Okay. By means of the spell, the magic user creates a non-material duplicate of himself or herself, projecting it to any spot within spell range which is desired. The image performs actions identical to the magic user, so it's like the spell they have in World of Warcraft from the Frost Mage, or I think it was the Arcane Mage. Walking, speaking, spell casting as the magic user determines. A special channel exists between the image of the magic user and actual magic user. Spells actually cast originate from the image. The image can be dispelled by only means of dispel magic or commanded from the spellcaster, and attacks do not affect it. The image must be within view of the magic user projecting at all times, and if his or her sight is obstructed, the spell is broken and material component. That's pretty interesting. You could project an image of herself. Let's just do this on the battle table here. Let's say she was here, and she wanted to project an image like a duplicate version of herself here, casting spells. These guys might try to attack her, but the line of sight will be broken by this rock. So in this situation, she might want to project an image of herself in the back, casting spells. They might collapse on her, so it might be a good decoy, but Chaos has no saving throw. I really think that Chaos is really going to be the winner here for her. Let's just go back and check one more time. What else can we do with her level 5 spell? We've got Chaos twice. It may just be the win. It may just be the best offensive spell for her to use. So let's go back to the list one last time here. Is there anything else level 5 for the Illusionist we could use? So Projected Image, that's not that great. Shadow Magic, we don't know what that is. Let's read that. Let's read Shadow Magic, and then I think we've got it. I think we've got her done. Shadow magic just sounds like a good old-fashioned whatever. Okay. Shadow magic spell allows the illusionist to cast... Oh, that's right, we read that earlier. You fake casting a nuke. I think we're going to leave it at chaos. Chaos and Phantasmal Killer is fantastic. Let's just leave it at that. Alright, so that's the spells for everyone. What we're going to do next, we're only going to change a couple spells Obscura. What we'll do next is we'll update the character sheets in our PowerPoint that we're using, and we turn it into a PDF. And we'll be able to... now let's talk about tactics. In fact, I'll save that for the next episode. We're going to talk about tactics. Okay? So here's the spells. Let's get this cleared out here. Now when I say talk about tactics, I mean we've seen the rooms we've been in. If this big party is happening, what's the plan? You know, if you were there with your friends, you're like, okay, what's the plan? Are we going to pull everyone to the room? What happens if they don't come? How are we going to get everyone to come in the room? Who's going to cast what spell first? We need to have a coordinated, concerted effort here, everyone working together. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some of them. I'm going to pull the other map out of that room so you can see what we're talking about here. Let's get these dice out of the way. We'll clean this board up real quick. Get that Jarl caster out of the way. Good news, everyone. Alright. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get this out of the way. Get that battle glass moved. Let's get this map out of the way. And this is going to be a tactical conversation of what we've had when we saw this room here. We're going to talk about this room adjacent to here, because so far the way this room is laid, out, the way the room was built, way they built the room, trying to use passive voice, there's this barrier here. Do you see this picture? There's this barrier here. So we're going to pull that map and put that on the battle map, and we're going to put characters on the screen as if we're drawing pictures in the sand to plan out this battle. Alright? Just give me a half second to grab that map and put it down. Okay, so we got things set up for the next episode. We're going to wrap this episode up. So in summary, what we're going to do in the next episode, we're going to talk about what our battle plan is. And we're going to talk about the tactics, who's going to cast what spells in what order, what we're going to do. And if you want to make a comment and make a suggestion, that'll be your chance to do it, because I'm going to save this nasty, huge battle for a few days, because we have Christmas coming up soon, some traveling and things like that. And I don't want to have that going on. Whoops. I don't want all that going on at the same time. I want this final battle to be epic and well executed. It may be a multi-episode battle too. So that's it for getting the spells in order. Remember, the party has set up camp in this area in the White Dragon. And what they're going to do next, they're going to move back through this area here and come down into here. So our next episode, we're going to talk about the battle plan for this area. All right? Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you got any questions or comments, feel free to share them. Love to see what you have to think about it. And if you have an idea, once you see our plan for this battle, want to share what you think, be sure to do so. And as always, shout out to Sword Coast Soundscapes for their ambient tracks, which I really love them. I like to run them in the background to give it a little flair, what we're doing. And we'll talk to you in the next episode where we talk about this kill zone, the battle tactics to handle the fight through this room. This room has been very successful before we work our way and plow into this incredibly huge, nasty wassail. And you can see this a fantastic choke point. Okay, we got everyone's spells ready. Antola's ready. Right? Where is he at? Where are you at, dude? Healer's ready. Illusionist is ready. Faoltiarna is ready. I think this is going to show you the power of the druid. Power of the druid. Our melee train is ready. Our miniatures aren't quite ready. We have one more mini that we're still painting. And we'll talk to you soon. Next episode, we're going to talk about battle tactics for the kill zone and how to pull the stuff off nastily. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Take care. This is Classic DM.